Hi everyone, public service announcement. The Blender conference is finally happening again. It's happening this year, October 27th, 28th and 29th. It's going to be happening at the Felix Meritis venue in Amsterdam. So let's talk a bit about that, but before we get into it, I know that not everyone likes news videos. I have some exciting new Blender experiments coming soon in the form of lighting experiments related to a potential new product, so I'll share more about that when it's ready. If you want to see more of those experiments, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. But for now, anyway, yes, the Blender conference is coming back. It's been a couple of years for quite obvious reasons relating to global happenings. But yeah, if you didn't know about the conference, basically every year, Blender, the Blender Foundation, Blender Institute, however you want to call it, has been running a conference for the community. It's a place for creators and developers and community members to come together and discuss things, share their passion for Blender, give and listen to presentations which are also uploaded for everyone to watch as well. And you may very well have watched some of these presentations already. I know that one of the most popular ones is Ian Hubert's. I know that Captain Disillusion's done one as well. There's lots of really popular ones. They're all like super educational and it's fun to take part in. It's really fun to meet other people. The first and only time I've been to the official Blender conference was in October 2019. That was very interesting. I had a much smaller following back then, but someone still recognized me and asked for a photo. So that was an interesting new experience. And if you're watching this, it was very nice meeting you. You were very sweet. That was lovely. Now, obviously, Amsterdam's a bit out of the way for people in other continents, but that doesn't stop dedicated community members and creators from coming as far as Australia to visit the conference. And I know for a fact that more of my creator friends want to attend it for the first time this year. So I hope they have enough tickets, because it would be a shame if there weren't enough to go around. But I think this might be the largest venue they've done so far, but I'm not too sure about that. So you might ask, what about the price? Well, they haven't publicly announced any prices yet, but tickets and calls for presentations go live in June. But to give you some kind of like reference frame, I remember last time you could pay for like a certain number of days. There's 3 days in total. I only went for 1 day because I was anxious and I'd never done anything like that before. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just book 1 day to keep it safe. My mum and my brother were also in Amsterdam at the time. They made it like a family trip, with the idea being that if I didn't like the conference, I could just bug out and then go and join them. But in the end, I really liked it. But that 1 day ticket cost about 140 something euros, I think. Yeah, 149 euros 50. And I believe it also came with like a little swag bag with a t-shirt and stuff. But that doesn't mean that the conference this year is going to be the same price. It may well be more, we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully that just gives you like a rough idea for what it might be. If you're interested in meeting any of your favorite creators in the community, including myself, then this would be like the prime opportunity to do it. As you can tell, we're all very like indoorsy, antisocial creatures. So there's very few opportunities to see us in public, and then even fewer opportunities to have us all together in one space. So this makes me wonder, and I want to know, have you ever been to the Blender conference, or maybe even any conference? It seems like something a lot of people might have done. Maybe it's Comic Con, maybe some really obscure conference for like a hyper specific interest, which I guess Blender is anyway. So let me know. I'm interested in kind of finding out whether my audience is the kind of people that might be interested in that. Also, if you are planning on going this year, make sure you let me know, because I'd kind of be interested in gauging how many audience members I might possibly expect to meet. I'll already likely be going with some creator friends, and there are other helper members of my community that want to go, like my moderators and such. So regardless if any of you do end up coming and meeting me, I'm still going to have a nice time meeting all these other community members. But if you are interested, if you want to come and say hi, I'm up for it. And I'm the kind of person that doesn't want anyone to feel left out. So if you do end up coming later in the year, and everything allowing, hopefully I am actually at the conference, then I would definitely like to give you the time and say hi to you. Speaking of meeting people, yesterday I met Jacob from Inlight VFX in London. I gave him a tour around the city, but it was really cool to meet him, and he's like the first other creator I've met in, well yeah, over 2 years now. And it was a very nice experience. And it just goes to show how much I've missed, like the physical connection with chatting with other members of the community. It's proof that they're real people. It might sound stupid, but it's important. Like it's a really cool experience being able to see the people who you've been interacting with, who have enjoyed your content, whose content that you've enjoyed, and just feel like, yeah, here we are, creators making ripples in the world in some way. So you might ask, what about the American Blender conference? Because that's something that was going to be happening in 2020, but again, that had to be stopped for... Well, we haven't heard anything about that idea coming back yet. I think it would be interesting. I know that a lot of American members of the Blender community might not be able to come all the way over to Amsterdam because it's quite a long flight. It might also be more difficult for, you know, the more teenage members of the community. They might be trying to convince their family to take a holiday over to Amsterdam that just so happens to be at the same time as the conference. I think an American conference at some point would be an interesting idea, because the United States of America has always been my largest demographic in terms of geography. And I know the same is true for pretty much every other Blender creator I speak to on YouTube as as well. So I think it'll be fascinating at some point being able to go over to an American conference and I guess just engaging with a different kind of audience as well. Either way, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully I would have moved into the new studio by then. There is progress on that front. I can't share too much, but the architect plans are done for the house, so that's going to be sent for approval. It's looking very cool. I'm very excited about it, but obviously these things take a lot of time. But anyway, yeah, let me know your thoughts on the conference. Is it something you might be interested in? So that's going to bring our public service announcement to the end. Like I said, I've got some cool experimental stuff to show you in the future, and possibly a new product, so be excited for that. But also, speaking of products, if you've enjoyed any of my previous products, make sure to remember to go and leave a rating on them. I'm not going to ask you to put a 5-star there, like rate it how you feel it should be. But one thing that might be more useful than rating is actually just let me know if there's any extra features that you want added to specific products. I've been making a lot of changes to my workflow recently to try and make it faster to kind of jump between different projects and add to them, and it actually seems to be working pretty well. Well, look, since you've made it this far, why don't I give you a little spoiler? So there's a word which has been kind of slightly intentionally hidden in some previous videos, which is a bit of an Easter egg now, and that word is Afterglow. Afterglow is a project I've wanted to do for so long. It's all about celebrating the power of emissive light in Blender. I've tried starting to work on it so many times, and then I've gotten kind of daunted by it and then stopped and gone on to do other things. And maybe the same thing will happen again, but these recent lighting experiments I've been doing are part of me trying to add a bit more to that project. So I guess I'll give more specifics about it if I get it a bit more fleshed out. But yeah, I'm doing some work on that at the moment. And then there's some other stuff to do with material packs as well. And then I also kind of want to like collect all of my old art files together as well and do like volume packs. Okay, so we'll think about it. There's so many things I want to do. The most difficult thing is like when trying to work on all these different projects, how do I put them into like digestible videos that are good for the channel? That's always been the balancing act, working on products and projects and videos at the same time. And how do you try and mix those two things together in an interesting way? Because like if I spend a week on easy BPY and then try and turn that into a video, it's quite a boring video and hyper specific. So that's not super interesting. So it needs to be packaged in with other stuff. And recently I've been trying different like titling methods for videos, like those community tutorial and project videos where we're doing like, oh, 14 new X, Y, and Z type things, but there's only so many times we can use the same title, like X number of amazing new Blender projects. So what I'm trying to do now is instead incorporate some of the very specific things that happen in the videos and the titles, and that seems to be working okay. But then I also wanted to try and see what would happen if I did a regular tutorial again, and that didn't work very well because it ended up being like the worst performing video of the year. Anyway, I'll stop rambling now. I'm just going to get back to making you guys as much cool content as I can because that's my default state. So if you made it this far, the emoji for this video is going to be a house. We're going to pretend it's the Blender Conference Felix Meritis venue. Perhaps you might also like to put a person emoji in the comments as well to pretend they're going to the con. Okay, let's not do this. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Sign up to the Patreon. Bye.